So Joe Rogan was doing one of his podcasts, and he openly said that he can't vote for Biden. All right. And if it comes down to Biden versus Trump, he said he would rather vote for Trump. Okay. So let me show you this clip, and then we shall discuss.
Choice at all. How
Yeah.
so?
I want a choice of an actual president that's viable. I don't have one. So then you're going to ask me, well, which of the non-viable people do you like best?
Well, this is the real issue with the Democratic Party. They've essentially made us all morons.
Yeah.
With this Joe Biden thing, they really have. They
you
made us all
imagine?
morons.
Who do we need? I mean,
I can't vote for that guy.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for Trump.
I'd rather vote for Trump than him. I don't think he could handle anything. I mean, you're relying entirely on his cabinet. Like, if you want to talk about an individual leader that can communicate, he can't do that. And we don't even know what the fuck he's going to be like after a year in office. The pressure of being the president of the United States
Right.
is something that no one has ever prepared for.
Right.
The only one who seems to be fine with it is Trump, oddly enough. I mean, he doesn't seem to be aging at all or in any sort of decline. You know, Obama, like, almost immediately started looking older.
Yeah.
George W. almost immediately started
Well, I think
looking
that this
older.
is not a change in Trump. Like, Trump, in a weird way, has just always been this
Right.
performative, like a fake alpha.
Right, and he still plays golf all the time. Like, he hasn't switched up much. I mean, I'm sure he switched it up a little bit because of the pandemic, because he's apparently a germaphobe, which is hilarious. That this could be his demise. You know? I mean, isn't that kind of hilarious?
Yeah.
That might be what does him in. The guy's always been worried about germs, apparently.
How does that work with his active
Very controversial, right? As you can imagine, Twitter had a meltdown. Oh my God. Ah. He said he would vote for Orange Cheeto Man. They had a complete meltdown. And it's not just bootylicker_59. No, it's even respectable pundits. It's quite the departure from when he previously said that he would either vote for Tulsi Gabbard or Bernie Sanders, right? Before I show you all these meltdowns by the neoliberals and the vote blue no matter who, the blue MAGAs, as we like to call them. Back then when Bernie Sanders went on Joe Rogan's show, they were saying that, it doesn't matter that Joe Rogan's show is the most popular podcast on earth and he has tremendous reach and this would be beneficial to Bernie Sanders. No. They weren't on board with that. Doesn't matter. But now, all of a sudden, when Joe Rogan says that he'd rather vote for Trump over Biden, now this matters. Why? Because he does have tremendous reach. His opinion does matter. So fuck this stupid outrage culture on the left. Fuck all these neoliberals concern trolling, grasping at straws, using every opportunity they can to attack Bernie Sanders. So look what Mehdi Hassan says. Given Bernie, mistakenly in my humble opinion, elevated Joe Rogan's endorsement of him, and given Rogan is now saying he'd rather vote for Trump than Biden, is it not time for Bernie to also now distance himself from Rogan too? Just asking. Once again, you see this garbage narrative from the mainstream media that Bernie Sanders has to apologize for every single fucking thing that happens on this planet. Next, they're going to ask Bernie Sanders to apologize for the existence of coronavirus. Do these people ever shut the fuck up? I mean, this is like some kindergarten bullshit. They're missing the real point here. They're really missing the uncomfortable truth, the elephant in the room, which I'm about to get to. So as we saw before when Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders, even when he endorses Bernie Sanders, even when he goes for not just a Democrat, but a lefty, no, it's not good enough. It's not okay. If you are aware that the mainstream media carried out a blackout against Bernie Sanders in 2016, they refused to even cover him, and they fired journalists who would. And you are also aware that the mainstream media spends their time insulting Medicare for all, smearing Bernie Sanders as a communist, saying that $15 minimum wage is pie in the sky. And on top of it, they give Joe Biden hundreds of millions of dollars in free airtime. I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused why you would be against Bernie Sanders going to independent media. And not just independent media, but the podcast with the largest reach on the planet. And let it be noted that a lot of people in the comment section of that video with Joe Rogan and Bernie Sanders, when they sat down, said that they were converted by this platform because instead of having a bombardment of ads, instead of having some glorified journalist talking over Bernie Sanders, cutting his mic, giving him 30 seconds to explain policies, you had a sit down. Bernie Sanders was able to speak for an hour and really calmly and extensively lay out his policies. So actually, this did Bernie Sanders a lot of good, right? But no, they were still angry at that because, I think they're not as committed to Bernie Sanders getting his message out there and actually winning as they are about this outrage culture with Joe Rogan. Now they are mad that Joe Rogan says he would pick Trump over Biden. And so once again, they're completely outraged. Now here's the uncomfortable truth that they don't want to tell you. Bernie Sanders, while calling himself a socialist, was able to win over Joe Rogan, right? Joe Biden, who is a Joe Obama Biden Democrat, right, as he calls himself, a true Democrat, is not. This says more about Joe Biden than it does about Bernie Sanders. And that's the elephant in the room. That's what they don't want to tell you, okay? Joe Biden's dementia, which Joe Rogan has pointed out. Remember, I showed you that clip?
He doesn't want to. Here, let's
We
wait.
know these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Stop. Pause. You can't be president. Stop. Pause.
This clip right here of Joe Rogan saying that he would vote for Trump over Biden says more about Biden than anything else, okay? It says dementia. It says terrible policy positions. The guy is abysmal, right? And instead of trying to work on Joe Biden, or instead of offering you, the electorate, the voters, a better candidate, no, it's Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's fault. You know, again, we go back to the same thinking, the same mindset of the neoliberal establishment. It's always the Bernie bros. It's always Bernie Sanders. It's always Joe Rogan. Always external forces, right? I mean, just a few days ago on The View, we're in 2020, and Whoopi Goldberg is still repeating this talking point about, didn't you ruin Hillary Clinton's campaign because you didn't drop out early enough, huh? And then he tries answering, and he's like, no, but you did, didn't you? Yo, if I don't lose my shit, it's Bernie Sanders' fault, right? Not that Hillary Clinton was a crappy candidate. It's the Bernie bros' fault, right? Not that Elizabeth Warren keeps flip-flopping and, she's a faux-aggressive. It's the Russians' fault. They hacked the Hillary campaign's emails, even though they're too stupid to password protect them properly. And now it's Joe Rogan's fault. They are laying the groundwork, okay? They are laying the groundwork for November because they know Joe Biden is going to lose. They know this. And of course, they will never look inwards. People like Neera Tanden, like Tom Perez, the embodiment of scum, they will never look inwards. No. It's you, the progressives, you, the ones who went against us, right? This is what this is. Mike Gravel, encapsulating what I just told you. The fact that Joe Rogan would rather vote for Donald Trump than Joe Biden is not an indictment of Bernie Sanders. It's an indictment of Joe Biden. Thank you very much. And then over here, Joe Biden has literally told people who disagree with him on policy or forcefully question his record to go vote for Trump. It's on video. And liberals are pressed because of Joe Rogan? Your own mans is telling people to vote for Trump. I really can't stand y'all. It's true. How many times have we seen Joe Biden say that? Huh? This is from Isabel Fiorella, so from the Convo Couch. Shout out to the Convo Couch, to my man Craig Pasta and Isabella. Centrist Democrats are apparently okay with Biden's rape allegations, endorsements from and to Bloomberg and Kissinger, lying about his record on TV, working with segregationists, literally telling people to vote for Trump, but they're absolutely not okay with Joe Rogan. Here's Biden telling you himself.
Now, is it possible?
Yes.
Well, you ought to vote for somebody else.
We got to stop building and replacing pipelines.
You ought to go vote for somebody else.
All right, thanks so much, sir.
Over those 8 years, there were 3 million people
that were deported and separated from their families.
Yeah.
We had this classification of families.
Well, you should vote for Trump.
Families
You should vote for Trump.
No, I'm not going to do that.
He's being asked the question about deportations, that you, Joe Biden, you and Obama, you deported millions and millions. And Joe Biden turns his back, just completely disrespectful, and right on cue, what does he tell him?
Well, you should vote for Trump.
Families
You should vote for Trump.
But no, the centrist Democrats, they can't admit that to you. No. Even when Joe Biden himself says go vote for someone else, you're not allowed to go vote for someone else. Because vote blue no matter who. Bah, bah, bah. Vote blue no matter who. Bah, bah. The party sheep. Bernie Sanders is leagues ahead of this demented goon, this war criminal that you are trying to put forward. Okay? So, parroting the same line, vote blue no matter who. Bah, bah. Yeah, it doesn't work with me. Go fuck yourself. I think it's very interesting how the United States in movies, in the mainstream media, they tell you about North Korea, they tell you about all these authoritarian regimes having this like one-party system, and everyone must follow blindly, and you may not question, and then they turn around and do the exact same thing. They just sugarcoat it better. Food for thought, no? So I don't know what my conclusion was, except fuck the Democrats. The main takeaway here, all right, it's not the noise from all these neoliberal clowns with their fake outrage and all this nonsense. The elephant in the room that they don't want to acknowledge. Or should I say the donkey in the room? The elephant in the room is that Joe Biden is a crappy candidate, okay? I mean, in some regards, he's even worse than Hillary, and that's saying something. You should be more concerned about why. Why is Joe Rogan saying that he would rather vote for Trump than Biden? Pay attention, because Joe Rogan didn't say that, oh, I'm undecided. He said, Joe Biden is so bloody terrible, I would rather vote for Trump. Do you understand what that means? It has nothing to do with Bernie Sanders. He's talking about the general. That means that Bernie Sanders is out of the equation in this hypothetical. Marianne Williamson is also out of the equation. Cory Booker, John fucking Delaney is out of the equation. Joe Biden is so bad that he would rather vote for Trump. But they can't admit that. They can't focus on that. Always, you're the problem, not us. And this is going to be a repeat of 2016. It is. Okay? Again, they don't want to acknowledge that Hillary Clinton is an unappealing candidate. They don't want to acknowledge that Joe Biden is an unappealing candidate. He's even worse. He can't even speak. Just think about this for a second. Joe Rogan, okay? This guy is a warning sign to you from all of the two-time Obama voters. Yes? The two-time Obama voters that flipped from Obama to Trump in 2016. Joe Rogan is giving you a warning of undecided voters. He's giving you a warning from independents. If there are undecided people out there, he's telling you, he's showing you that Biden ain't gonna cut it. Right? Bernie did, despite labeling himself as a socialist even. Think about that. But of course, they don't care, because whether Biden wins or Trump wins, the capitalists win. The system remains the same. So they don't care. But it's funny watching all these, neoliberals melt down. It's quite hilarious. And just to end on that note, let me show you a clip of Donald Trump responding to one of Joe Biden's tweets. Okay?
In the back, please.
Joe Biden actually just attacked you in a tweet. I don't know if you have seen it.
He just what?
Attacked you. He just said...
Well, he didn't write anything. Look, he has professionals from the Democrats
Mr. President,
writing.
let me just read what he said. He said, Donald Trump is not responsible for the coronavirus, but he is responsible for failing to prepare our nation to respond to it. How do you respond to that, sir?
He didn't write that. That was done by a Democrat operative. He doesn't write. He's probably not even watching right now. And if he is, he doesn't understand what he's watching. But just so you understand.
Again, we haven't even entered the general. All right? The primary ain't even over yet. And Trump He's trolling Biden, and he's trolling him good. And he's bringing up the elephant in the room. He's bringing up the fact that, Joe Biden is gone. So Joe Rogan's claims are not unfounded. My claims are not unfounded. All of the progressives on YouTube, their claims are also not unfounded. There is a gallery now, a stockpile of Joe Biden's gaffes, stutters, if you will. Come on, man. Come on. Trump is going to make mincemeat out of him.